Hello everyone, I'm Alex Russo and I'm a science fiction and fantasy author. This is the third installment in a series on world building and interstellar civilization. Today we're going to be working on interstellar governance. This is important for space-based science fiction since it will enable you to determine the style of government for your star space and how it operates. While this presentation will focus on this from a space opera perspective, this can also be applied to other genres. So, some characteristics we're going to want to discuss are the origin of your interstellar state, the type of governance, how the government is structured, and how worlds or other interstellar states could be or are inducted into the interstellar state. So, we're going to ask some questions about how your interstellar state arose. This can be anything from a common ideology like that of the Covenant hegemony in Halo, to a particular goal like that of the United Federation of Planets in Star Trek. Or it could have arisen just from a particular circumstance, like the Rebel Alliance becoming the New Republic in Star Wars. The Union is going to be a tightly knit group of planets. A confederacy and alliance are similar, though constituent parties of a confederacy may exercise more independence, while an alliance is just numerous independent planets working for a specific goal without a centralized form of governance, similar to NATO or BRICS. A coalition is going to be an alliance, union, or confederacy united under a specific goal or ideology. A league will be similar to a coalition, but will be based upon cooperation between member states in order to promote or maintain an ideology or goal. A federation will be a more centralized state, though it may exhibit similarities to the previous and subsequent governments on this list. An empire and a kingdom are pretty much the same, as they both have a monarch at its head. However, a kingdom tends to maintain rule over one people group, while an empire maintains rule over many, though there are exceptions to this. A protectorate is a satellite state maintained by a foreign entity. In a republic, the government is structured to represent majority interests while having a system of checks and balances to protect against mob rule. A democracy is a style of government that is entirely ruled by the majority interests of the people. A corporatocracy is ruled by businessmen. Oligarchy is ruled by a select few. Monarchy is a style of autocracy where the ruling leader is from a dynastic line of rulers. For an anarchy, there is no need to have any centralized form of governance. Feudalism is distribution of ruling power under certain individuals who control groups of people that work for the estate. A dictatorship will be controlled by one absolutist autocrat, so this can take any form. A theocracy is ruled by religious leaders. A junta is ruled by military leaders. While there may be some overlap as to how these will influence the form of government or a hybridization of different styles of governance, you should be able to set up the government of your interstellar state as you wish. Keep in mind I'm not an expert on this subject, so I encourage you to fact-check my definitions. Now we're going to move on to organization. First off, where is the centralized authority of your interstellar state, if it exists? A centralized authority on one particular planet a species came from could be a good capital for an empire, while a planet that was previously a colony could be a good capital world for a confederacy. Species dominance will also play a role. Will species be perceived through more egalitarian lenses, or will there be a group of species seen as superiors in the interstellar state while the rest suffer? Distribution of powers will be determined by the type of governance. For example, a kingdom may be more autocratic and have all or most of the power vested in a monarch, while a republic will have a looser distribution of power. When it comes to organizations associated with governance, I would avoid using partisan politics since there are too many interests among different groups of constituent species. So a partisan legislature and partisan executive election process may result in too much bureaucracy. Despite this, a legislative body and the like are okay to have in your interstellar state. There's also the process of different organizations influencing each other and interacting to reach a specific goal. So, induction of species is an important aspect of an interstellar state. However, if you're watching this for guidance on world building for a smaller state where all accessible territory has been conquered, isolated, or does not care about expansion, this can be disregarded. There are two forms of induction, voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary induction will be along the lines of species having a choice to join or leave the interstellar state. Involuntary induction will be along the lines of annexation and involuntary occupation for an indeterminate amount of time. So, for the percentages of structuring the government for your interstellar state, you'll want to mainly focus on governance and organization. After that, you'll want to place a large emphasis on origin because it provides a foundation for why your interstellar state exists. Induction is going to be the smallest sector of world building unless your story revolves around tension surrounding a species being inducted or seceding from your interstellar state. That is all I have for today. Thank you for watching.